So, uh, middle of the night, Mason Cassidy gets a text from Arvel Gladwin asking to meet where they first met, at a secluded rooftop in Spoke Hill. Uh, Mason will get there promptly and will be there, and I assume Arvel will already be there.
Yeah, I was already there. He's just sort of standing, looking over on the view. Evening, Mason.
Evening, Arvel. How's it going?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I've
Good.
been worse.
Yeah, I can imagine. How have you been finding the city since Elysium?
Well, interesting.
That's a word for it. Yeah. Have you got a
Yeah,
place to Have you got a place to live?
yeah. I've got a place to stay. I've managed to talk to the new owner of the docks.
Who have they got in charge of it now?
Uh, Give me a sec. Her name was Emily Jane Ashton.
Emily Jane Ashton. Oh,
I think she's
okay.
recently come back.
I've heard the name before. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, we've come to a kind of arrangement.
Good. Good. I'm glad you got somewhere to stay.
Surprised to see you didn't go for the role of Priscus in the end.
Yeah. Doing the rounds and talking to the master. It seemed like quite a given that he had already been bought, and I assumed that if he had been, others would have been as well. So there wasn't much chance. I think as soon as Isaac stepped forward, it confirmed that suspicion, and at that point, there wasn't much chance of going for it. So and well, I don't think he'll do a bad job.
Yeah.
He'll he was right in that I think the clan needs to come together for the coming threats, but I think he'll do a good job because it looks good on him rather than for the clan. But either way, if he does the job, then, well,
Yeah.
until he slips up, that's all we can ask for, I guess.
I was under the impression the two of you didn't get along very well. He was pretty vocal about not liking you very much.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me. What did he say, out of curiosity? I'm sure I've heard it before, but I'd be interested.
He didn't give me many details, just that you'd made a few fuck-ups and you didn't get along on the best of terms.
That's true. We're not on the best of terms, and I did make a pretty bad decision, which is why I'm no longer the Archon. But I own that, and it may have it could have prevented worse things from happening if I hadn't done it, but we'll never know. My hand was kind of forced in the matter, but I still did what I did.
Fair enough. How much do you know about Isaac? Sort of. He's from what I hear, he got hold of the docks pretty quickly. Do you know how he did it?
I heard there was, I think, more than a few months ago, maybe close to the start of the year, I think there was something about a Ormwood killer. Some murder, some killing that happened in the district of Ormwood, but it might have been a potential breach of the masquerade. I think Isaac, with the help of one who's no longer with us, Yevdekimov, they caught the killer, and I think that garnered the prince's favour, and he was able to acquire the docks that way. I was brought, when I was reintroduced back into Kindred Society, I had a bit of a 3-year stint where I kind of kept to myself. I came back just as Isaac was acquiring the docks, so I saw him get them, but I didn't get a front row seat to how he got them. But that's what I've heard. Why? I know him fairly well. We were in a coterie for probably a month or so, month and a half. Myself, Isaac, and Rachel, and that didn't end well.
Let's see. Interesting.
The man's got many secrets, so.
And it would seem a lot of enemies. Cost him a lot to get that Priscus.
Cost him a lot, and he was bulletproof before then. He was comfortable in the docks. He was in Invictus. He had a boon for the prince. And now he has none of that.
Yeah.
And he has more enemies as well.
And to stop it all off, he's joined the one clan who can probably find his secrets the easiest.
Probably already have.
Yeah. I've already noticed a foul stench wafting around his soul.
Really?
Yeah, one I'm quite familiar with.
Which is?
I don't know the circumstances, but I'm almost certain he's committed the ultimate sin of our kind.
He has.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I don't know the exact circumstances of how it happened, but the kindreds that he worked with to solve the Ormwood killings, Yevdekimov, he was the scourge of the city. He messed up with a masquerade breach. He was then blood bound to the prince and given a new job, the Hound of the city. He messed up again, and a blood hunt was called on him. And Isaac diablerized him. It's not common knowledge, though I imagine it's probably common knowledge amongst our clan.
Yeah. Okay.
And while it's not illegal what he did, because of the blood hunt, but you can't trust him.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't going to be happy about it if they find out.
No. But the problem is that we didn't really have any proof.
It's a shame.
It is. Whatever proof there is, it lies within Isaac's blood.
Yeah.
So unless he openly admitted it,
perhaps.
I think right now it would look, I imagine most of the clan do know, and if we all stepped up and said, this man's the Diablerist, it would also look terrible on us for electing him in the first place.
Yeah, probably. How long do you reckon this little arrangement with the Ordo will last? I know he bought them, but how long until they just take control of the clan anyway?
They've got what they want out of him. They've got the university. I can't imagine that relationship will last too long. A month at most, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ.
You
came here running from war and I've walked into another one.
Yeah. You really have stepped into it, Arvel. I did say the city was not in a good place.
Seems no matter where you go, something's going up.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'll have to take up some shooting lessons.
Keep yourself protected. Yeah. I'd be happy to offer my services. I spent a good amount of time in the military. I was a PI, was the Archon. I fired more than my fair share of guns.
I might take you up on that at some point.
Of course, it's nights like this. We need as important as it is to gather information. We also need people who can fight. And even if you can't fight well, if you can hold your own, that's good enough.
Yeah.
So I'm more than happy to give you some lessons. I've been teaching. Do you notice that girl, probably about 15, pink hair, quite bubbly, walking around Elysium?
I think I may have seen her about. Yeah.
Yeah, she was a ghoul of a friend of mine, but now he's disappeared, and I've been giving her lessons to kind of make sure that she can take care of herself. So I'd be happy to give you lessons as well, of course.
I assume you're talking about Bob. Was that the fellow they were mentioning? He's gone missing.
Yes, the butcher.
Do you know what he looks like? I assume you've met him a few times.
More than my fair share. Yeah, you can't mistake his appearance. He's quite. It's hard to pin down how he looks. He looks like it's this weird mix of every person you've ever seen in one. It's quite generic, but you can tell there's something off about it. Piercing, glowing red eyes. He usually wears glasses, sunglasses to cover them, and an unmistakable devilish voice. You'll know him when you see him.
Yeah, I think I might have already. I mean, not physically, but I think Mr. Reed is quite afraid of the man.
Yes, he is. He's afraid of what he can't see.
You definitely chose the wrong plan to be Priscus of then.
You're telling me. Yeah, they had some arrangements before, but now that Bob's gone AWOL, well, I don't expect Bob to be coming back anytime soon, not after the message he gave to Deacon to give to the prince, and not after the mistakes he made. Whatever Isaac said about what I did on the 4th of July, what Bob did was much worse. He kicked it off.
Yeah.
The city was burning because he got impatient and kidnapped a leader of the Hunter organization. And as soon as they became aware that he was missing, they retaliated.
Bloody hell.
So yes, I made some bad decisions. My hand was forced, but I don't think Bob's coming back because he knows what he's done. So does the prince.
There was a mention of something at the Elysium. Some Strix. I've only ever heard rumours of things. Do you know what they are?
Unfortunately, I've had my share of run-ins with them. Well, they are spirits of some kind, shadowy and bird-like in nature, in visage, that can possess. They can possess kine, their bodies, and torpid kindred.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Other vampires are not all we have to worry about in this city, I'm afraid. But it's not the most reliable, but if you ever see anyone whose eyes flash yellow, even briefly, just briefly flash yellow, that's one of them.
Okay.
We know that they have the abilities of dominate and something like Auspex. They can read minds.
Okay.
So they are not to be underestimated, and so much more dangerous because they probably know exactly what we're doing and we have no idea where they are.
Okay. Anyway, I should probably get going.
Of course, I'm
things
fact.
to do, people to spy on.
Of course. And if you ever need any help with any spy work or just want a shooting lesson or just to catch up, you've got my number.
Yeah, sure thing.
Take care of yourself, Arvel.
You too, Mason.
And with that, I imagine the two of them would leave the rooftop into the night.